This is our second video of lesson 2, rational expressions, equations, and functions. We're talking about multiplying and dividing rationals. In the first video, we talked about multiplying, and we now are going to do dividing. Dividing just adds one more step. It also adds a few more restrictions possibly. So just the way when we multiply, the first thing we would do was factor the numerator and the denominator. So we got lots of factoring to do here. I've got x plus 3, x minus 2. That's what this factors to. The denominator here factors to x plus 5, x minus 2. Then the division sign, bring that over. These guys are already factored, so I'm going to put them in parentheses. So we factored. Now we need to state the restrictions. So there's 3 restrictions so far. X can't be -5, 2, and -5. So I don't need to repeat that one because that occurs twice. So division can always be changed to a multiplication problem, and that's what you're going to do. And a way to remember how to change division to multiplication is copy, dot, flip. And I'll explain to you what that means. Dividing is the same thing as multiplying by the reciprocal. So the copy part is copying the first rational expression. We copy that. Dot is changing division to multiplication, so a dot means multiply. And flip means writing the reciprocal of the second rational expression. So that's how you change division to multiplication, copy, dot, flip. So in this case, you're now going to have another restriction because now this x plus 3 is in the denominator. So there is one more restriction, which is -3. And you'll be able to just write the restriction really quickly because it's the numerator and the denominator of the second fraction. So we've stated the restriction of the new multiplication problem. Now we cancel out our common factors. Remember, factors are separated by multiplication signs. So the x plus 3 can go, the x minus 2's can go, and the x plus 5's can go. So what happens when you have the same number divided by the same number? You get the number 1. It's not 0. This cancels out to 1. So if we needed to, if there were factors left, we could have multiplied across, but we don't need to. So copy, dot, flip will change it to multiplication. So we're going to do some practice, and you will do number B on your own, and you will do letter, doesn't really matter, these are all the same, D. So those are, B and D are for you to try. So I'm going to quickly run through A. So restrictions, x cannot be 0. I'm going to change division to multiplication by copy, dot, flip. And now I'm going to cancel. But now before we expanded all this stuff and canceled, but you don't have to do that, you guys. 3 goes into 3 one time. 3 goes into 6 2 times. X squared will cancel with 2 of these guys, so we'll be left with x to the third. 10 and 15 are both divisible by 5, so this 10 divided by 5 is 2. This 15 divided by 5 is 3. So we're left with 1 times 3, which is 3, x to the third, because I had 3 x's left, over 2 times 2, which is 4. There were no new restrictions when I flipped over this second fraction, so the only restriction is x is 0. So you try B, it's very similar, also quite easy. For C, remember, we are going to first factor. You can also combine steps if you want, but we'll just continue step by step. This numerator is already factored, so I put it in parentheses. The denominator of the first fraction is a difference of squares. The numerator of the second fraction factors to x minus 7, x plus 1. And the denominator factors to 2, x plus 2. So far my restrictions are 2, -2, and -2. So plus and minus 2. Now I'm going to change division to multiplication. So I copy the first. I change division to multiplication, dot, flip the second. And I do have 2 new restrictions now because these numerators are now the denominator and I cannot divide by 0. So my 2 new restrictions are 7 and 1, so I have to add those on. All right, now multiplication. I don't actually multiply, I cancel. And even when I multiply, I don't actually multiply, I just stick the factors together. So I was left with a 2 in the numerator and an x minus 2 and x minus 1 in the denominator. So I don't actually multiply, I just stick them together, which is multiplication. All right, you are to do C and D. I'm sorry, B and D. And then you have lots of resources here that you can use. These are Khan Academy practices, and I strongly, strongly recommend you use them. I will probably be putting a couple of those on the quiz. And there is the simplifying, multiplying, and dividing rationals worksheet. You are to be working on that. You should start now, but you'll also get to work on it in class, and you're going to be doing the evens on those, and that's posted on Canvas. Hope this helped.